We want to mention that Trustee Siegel and Trustee Perkins have been sworn in, but there is a ceremonial swearing in after the meeting so that our guests are welcome to stay and celebrate as well. We also want to mention, as you may have noticed, that Dr. Lepper is on leave, so Vice President Lisa Freiberger is filling in as the acting president, and so we're grateful for that. And we're also grateful to welcome Trustee Micah Perkins to the dais. And so with that being said, might any of the board members or VP Freiberger have any guests in the audience that they would like to introduce? It's a full house.
I actually would like to formally introduce Dr. Frank Sargent, who I think is all the way in the back there. If you just want to stand up and wave. Frank is our newest member to our executive leadership team, our chief of staff, and works in the president's office. We certainly welcome him officially. He's been here a little while, so he doesn't seem so new anymore, but wanted to officially welcome him and recognize him. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome.
And if I would, I'd like to just acknowledge the presence of my family, my wife, son and daughter, and my mom, father-in-law, my union brothers in the back, friends from the Army, friends from back in the day. I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you so much.
And we are very glad that you are on the dais with us. And we were just remarking on, while this is Trustee Perkins' first time out here on the dais, he has rolled up his sleeves and been in the thick of it since day one, and he's going to be a treat to the board. So thanks for being in the audience, and thank you again for running and being on the board. And so with that being said, our first order of business today is the approval of the agenda. Trustees, please note that this is the time to remove an item from the consent agenda for separate consideration if necessary. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections of the agenda? No. May I have a motion for the approval of the agenda?
Moved. Second.
Support.
Okay, we have our motion and second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries for the agenda. Now we will open the meeting for public comment. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to address the board, you may do so at this time. Not seeing any, and so we will move forward to our special order of business, which is the single audit. May I call Todd Hurley, Controller, to the podium, please?
Good afternoon. As you may recall, Plant Moran came this past October to the meeting to present the audited financial statements for fiscal year end 6/30/24. Plant Moran has now issued the single audit report for the past fiscal year. This is a separate report on all federal funds received by GRCC and an opinion on the compliance that's from the U.S. Office of Management and Budget. There's a compliance supplement and for any major programs. So the auditors do assessments to determine which major programs the college has. This year, the Student Financial Aid Cluster was our only major program. That cluster includes Pell, Student Loan, SEOG, and Work Study Funds. And for this past fiscal year, totaled over $26 million. In the report that you received in your packet, I'd just like to highlight a couple pages, a couple items. On pages 7 and 8, you'll have a listing of all the federal funds received by program and by federal agency. So that's a good capture of everything running through the college. Page 8 shows that GRCC received $34.3 million for the past fiscal year. For the prior fiscal year, we had received $29.1 million, so about an 18% increase. On page 11, you'll find the schedule of findings and question costs. And just a couple items of note under the federal awards section. There were no findings, material weaknesses, or significant deficiencies identified. The auditor's opinion on our major program, the Student Financial Aid Cluster, was unmodified, which is the highest opinion that you can receive. The single audit is really a comprehensive audit of all the college's internal controls and requires a coordination of efforts from various departments. I'd like to thank the Grants Office, Financial Aid, Student Financial Services, Student Records, IT, and my staff for all their help to help make this a successful audit. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, and I would just ask for your acceptance of this report.
Were you about to say something? Trustees, what questions, concerns, or celebrations might you have at this time?
I want to lift up and say thank you for being stewards of federal money, and thank you for putting this all in one handy spot for us. $34.3 million in federal money, and we do amazing things with it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Other comments or questions? We have a motion to approve the single audit as presented.
So moved.
Thank you. Might there be any discussion? Additional? No? All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Those opposed? And the motion carries for the single audit. Thank you so much. And at this time, we'll move to the 2024-2025 mid-year budget review. And VP Freiberger, we invite you to stay at the dais, please, and to walk us through what you need to.
Perfect, thank you, and I appreciate that, so I'm not getting up and down. Nat Lloyd is going to join me as well. We have for you a presentation, brief presentation of the mid-year budget. Nat will walk us through that. Included in your packet were the full analysis and the line-by-line budget amendment proposal, as well as a narrative explaining the changes that are being proposed as part of this budget amendment. Nat will walk us through some of the highlights of that, and then I will close us out, and we're both available at that point to answer any questions. So Nat, if you'd like to start taking us through.
Sure thing. First slide. Next slide. All right, so starting off with revenue, it's definitely a really great update to have because we've been doing so well with enrollment, and so we had additional, when we came with the fall, we know the fall enrollment was up, so too is winter, so that's good news. Also good news is the property tax was originally to be 5%, now it's screaming up at 7%, and that's an additional $1.3 million. Moving to that next bullet, this isn't really totally news. We've been really telling you as it goes, but I'm just going to kind of re-explain it, that we got a one-time payment from the UAAL for $2.6 million. Going forward, we will expect to get that as a reduction in a reduction in expense. But this year it came through as a revenue. And then the other part of that is the usual, that the UAL is the one where we get the money and send it right back to them, just because that's the way they want to do it. Moving to that next bullet, there's that the UAL decrease to offset. Also, there's a chunk there for healthcare, and that just comes with the usual updating of comparing to actuals and what the plans are and whatnot. But we also packaged in a good chunk to remain conservative because of that lame duck session law. We don't know what the impact will be if the caps go up on healthcare, but we are ready for it if it comes. The next couple of slides really just are about, well, those, I meant the bullets, but they're about these additions. So just quickly looking through, these are pretty small for general fund. Usually they come more in the annual budget, but I mean, you got a couple of things for professional development, things like website maintenance, some equipment, some small things, but just wanted to give you a few, you know, some of the things that we needed to get in there that hadn't been in the budget. Next up. And this is just, you know, kind of because we always have it. So there it is. It's in the packet though, and maybe because everyone won't be reading the packet. So we're basically kind of back where we started after all of our ins and outs and our transfers. Moving to the next slide. So here, though, is where we talked about the 2.6 billion, and then it also had said we're gonna have a $3 million transfer to plant, and now you can kind of see where it's going. I wanted to take just a minute to talk about deferred maintenance, because it's kind of I think it's a special area. I know when I started here 8 years ago, I noticed that we were really well invested in that area. And to me, it represents disciplined leadership. And I think we'd had it for a long time. We've had it since then. And I don't think it goes without saying, or shouldn't, because it's important to keep doing these things. Somebody's not just gonna go to our campus and say, we love those, look at those exterior building envelopes. It's not that exciting. So you do have to do them, and we've been doing that. And so I'm just happy to be able to report that. All of these are one-time. We've got some furniture, renovations, some bigger things going on. So, I mean, it's a pretty hopping campus right now. A lot going on in addition to our bigger projects. Next slide.
Are the AEDs for training purposes, or are they actually on
Oh,
campus?
sorry, I meant to go back. Sorry, yeah, I wanted to punch that one up. Yeah, we got the new AED units. It's just a life cycle thing. We wanted to keep them current, no pun intended. But it's important. We wanted to invest. It's been, especially as it's been an important area for us in the last couple of years. But it's a life cycle replacement of what we have.
Do you have any idea how many we have?
I forget.
All right, no problem.
I believe we have approximately 20 to 30 across the campus, and they're all in great working order.
Yeah.
So there is nothing wrong with them. They're all outdated technology, however. So as we have an opportunity, we really need to upgrade them. And our campus police team has been working on looking at different options and have settled on a new unit that we will start replacing them with.
Exactly right. So there's that next slide. We're painting the Ford Field House walls. It's been long overdue. Some other various equipment that you might expect to see in a campus. And we've had a couple of things with that office setting up. We had an earlier one about for a departmental office. So we've been moving some people around, and there's some costs to that. The next one. And this is where Lisa wanted to. And there should have been a question slide, though, because.
Yes, so what questions might you all have at this point, if any?
Just a clarification on the 4.6 increase in enrollment for winter. Is that over the fall semester, or is that compared to the previous winter? Yeah.
Previous winter, year over year.
Thank you.
Because we decided what we wanted to do this year is come in with a flat budget to the prior year. So then when we got the increases, it was over last year.
So thank you, Nat. I appreciate that review. As we look forward in the entire budget process, certainly this is our primary budget amendment for the current fiscal year that we're standing in for 24-25. As we look forward, we would request action on this so that we might move forward with those. Certainly happy to answer any additional questions. We are continuing as we look forward to monitor legislative changes. Nat alluded to one. There are several out there that we are continuing to watch. We will continue to watch for budget updates as we continue to work on the 25-26 budget. The next primary highlight in that cycle from an informational standpoint at the state level will be the May revenue consensus. The governor has released her proposal for next year's budget. That proposal includes a 4% increase for community colleges. So that's a start of what will now be a budget cycle. The House and Senate will both weigh in on that, sorry. We are also looking at MIPSers. As Nat alluded to, there are several changes with the state pension system Michigan Public School Employers Retirement System, looking at some adjustments for next year, including an expense reduction, so monitoring that. And we will continue to work holistically on 25-26. We will bring a tuition recommendation to you as a board for your consideration in March at your next board meeting. And then we'll bring the full budget proposal at your budget work session in May. So those are the next couple of dates, and then would look for your action on that full budget proposal in June.
Around tile 2 or 3, when it's talking about leadership training program for 40 grand, what might that be?
Those are leadership training programs that will be housed in the talent development section of HR. Dr. Likely could share more information about those, but we are really focusing on leadership and supervisory training as we look to grow our supervisors in a variety of ways.
Thank you. Additional questions, folks, before we move this forward? So then the question is, may I have a motion to approve the 2024-2025 mid-year budget as presented?
Support.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. And thank you. Next on our agenda, we have the Public Safety Committee. I would like to call Sergeant Cam Robles to the podium, please.
Sorry, I shouldn't have sat in the back row there.
That's okay.
Good afternoon, trustees, chairperson, and VP Freiberger. I'm Cam Robles. I'm a sergeant for GRCC Police Department, just filling in for Chief Whitman on this one. So this is our annual request for the board to appoint a Public Safety Advisory Committee to receive and address grievances by persons of the community against the GRCC Police Department or members of the department. The committee must be comprised of 2 faculty members and 2 staff members. So going forward into 2025, as I understand, there will be no change. The same members that we have had serving have agreed to continue to serve. Representing staff, we have Dr. Grant Snyder, David Selman, and then faculty will be Nikki Smith and Hillary Haney. So I'll attempt to answer any questions you guys might have on that. Otherwise, just looking for approval for that.
What additional questions or concerns might you raise at this point?
I can't recall, are these the same personnel that filled these roles last year, last
Yes.
cycle?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
For sure.
Remember, thank you.
Other questions?
You may not know the answer to this, and it's completely okay, but how long have these same 4 individuals served in this capacity?
I don't know the exact time frame. I know it's been some time though, and they're continuing to volunteer again. So I can find out for you though.
Thank you.
Just want to thank Sergeant Robles for your service. You were kind enough to give me a tour of your public safety facility. If you guys haven't had a chance to do that, highly recommend.
I did. I didn't know if you remembered me, so I didn't say anything.
That is one of the ways that he jumped right in. I believe there was an evening event or whatnot that Trustee Perkins went to. And Trustee Brame, I thought your hand was up or your...
So I'm trying to remember, I recall this process approving the board each year, and I know they get complaints, et cetera, but does this board review the information that the committee ever gets, or is there a report out once a year about what they find during the year?
This board, no, this is a committee that is required by the Community College Act for you to have in place as a part of having a sworn police force. Those, we don't receive much, if anything. Those do not come to the board. That's why there is a separate independent committee, that if there is something that can't be addressed through Chief Whitman, then this committee stands in that place.
If it helps, we've had 1 complaint in the past 14 years.
Okay, that clarifies it.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Okay, so may I have a motion to approve the Public Safety Committee as presented?
Moved.
Support.
Thank you. Might there be any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next we have the Michigan New Jobs Training Program, Health Bar. We would like Vice President Lisa Freiberger for Finance and Administration to stay at the dais and enlighten us.
Perfect, thank you. This is another Michigan New Jobs Training Program agreement. We currently have 19, this will make 20 of our agreements outstanding with your consideration. This is for Health Bar, an organization in Grand Rapids. The total agreement is for $300,000. Health Bar currently has 39 full-time employees in Michigan and are looking to add approximately 20 new jobs or new qualified positions. The way Michigan New Jobs works is allows, in this case, Health Bar to defer state income payroll taxes to be used for the qualified new positions to be used or diverted for training purposes. So that allows them to have up to $300,000 in this case of resource available to provide for training for those very specific new positions. They have met all of the requirements, including meeting or exceeding the ALICE rate, which is the new standard for the Michigan New Jobs payment pieces, and they will divert enough in income tax or payroll tax to repay the revenue bonds within the required 5-year period. With that, would be happy to answer any questions. You should have received the resolution as well as the agreement that we are looking for your permission to move forward with.
What questions might you have?
What is the ALICE, asset limited, income constrained, employed? What is our index here?
I don't have that specific number in front of me. It is less than the 2252, or 2252 is the required amount. Health Bar will pay more than that.
Okay. Thank you.
Does that answer the question?
Yes.
Thank you. Additional questions? Okay, may I have a motion to approve the MNJTP Health Bar as presented?
Moved.
Support.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And the motion for the health bar carries. Now it is time that we move to now it is time that we move to approve the consent items. May I have a motion to approve the consent items as presented?
So moved. Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed? Motion carries. Did I miss something? No? Okay. Purchases over $100,000. May I have a motion to approve the purchases over $100,000 as presented, please? So I think I had okay, did you get that? I had Sal, I had Cheryl, I had Kathleen, so, all right. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Those opposed? We will slow it down a little bit so I can enunciate a little better. At this point, we are going to ask Vice President Freiberger to engage in the President's report.
Yes, thank you. There are no monitoring reports at this time, and there are no institutional reports. There were financial statements included in your packet for the month ended January 31st of 2025, as well as the purchasing agenda and an investment statement. We have talked fairly significantly about budget through the mid-year process. With that, I would be happy to answer any questions that you would have on the January statements. I will note, of course, that the budget has not been updated for the mid-year adjustments that you just reviewed and accepted, and we will get that done as part of the February statements. So some of the variances that we are noting, particularly in the revenue side of the general fund statement, will be balanced when that adjustment is posted. With that, I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have on the January statements that were part of your packet.
I actually have a quick question. I noticed that of the 3 funding sources we have here, we have tuition, state aid, property tax. Those are the 3 main.
Correct.
How long has student tuition and fees been the majority of our funding sources, if you know?
For as long as I have been here, if not longer.
Okay, thank you.
State aid used to be a higher percentage and has dropped. I will tell you, when you look at our statements, however, state aid is very hard to pull out now because the amount that's listed in the budget is not an operating allocation. It includes almost, I think, $8 million of that accrued actuarial liability that inflates that number. So it's hard to pull that out.
So
making
as
it look
between-
like it's a higher percentage than it really is.
Okay, so state aid and property tax have always been underneath fees and tuition?
Yes, the
Okay,
state aid used to be a higher percentage of that total.
thank you for that.
Any other questions? If not, looking at this, there is no faculty report at this time, to the best of my knowledge. We do have a student government report, though, so I would love to introduce Maria Toy. Thank you so much for being here. Perhaps start us off by introducing yourself and go ahead and share your report.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Maria Choi and I'm the new president of student government for this semester. I'm here to provide an update on the GRCC student government's plan for this winter semester. Our focus for this semester is frequent on-campus tabling. We are prioritizing on-campus tabling to gather valuable student feedback, spread awareness about student government, and increase attendance at our student town halls. To achieve this, we are hosting monthly pre-town hall tabling events on campus. So far this semester, student government has hosted pre-town hall tabling and a Valentine's themed sexual health awareness tabling event. For pre-town hall tabling, we gave away popcorn to engage students, and for the sexual health awareness tabling, we handed out roses and condoms to promote awareness. We were able to meet about 180 students, and at both events, we shared information about our monthly town hall meetings, STI resources, meal vouchers program, and collected students' input on the revised student code of conduct. Secondly, our student government team is continuing maintaining the game room in RJF building. We recently restocked ping pong balls and paddles and put up flyers to help keep the area organized. Lastly, we are working on a poster to inform students about student government, town halls, and upcoming events. Student government used to have suggestion boxes around the campus, but maintaining them was challenging. So instead, we are planning to put up large student government flyers with a big QR code so students can share their opinions digitally. This is all I have for today, and let me know if you guys have any questions.
I don't have a question, but I really appreciate you being intentional in collecting the voices and insight of your classmates, colleagues.
Yeah.
So thank you for that and your leadership. I do think I heard someone else getting ready to say something over here.
How are you funded?
So student government has our we have our own budget. So when GRCC collects tuition, there's something called campus activities fees, and the student government takes a certain amount of that student activities fee, and that's basically our budget.
Thank you. So there are no dues per se, right?
What?
There are no dues. It's
No,
just-
not really. No. I don't think so.
Thinking quickly on your feet. Exactly. Nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that's all you have. Thank you so much, Vice President Freiberger. We'll move on to the board chair report, and I just want to continue to amplify how impressed I am with the faculty and staff of and the other formal leaders of GRCC, and want to reflect on anywhere I go, if I'm wearing anything even as little as a lapel pin and people see the GRCC, people have a GRCC story. And I think it's because of the way that you all show up every day, and I'm appreciative of that. And I think given some of the concerns we have heard, I continue to be amazed with the ways that we show up for one another. I think that continues to help distinguish this community from any other community. And lastly, before we get to some other things, I want to say that I continue to be grateful to hear some of the hard conversations that happen in the private space where the board is meeting publicly and or privately. I think this is a brilliant group of people, and I love how we continue to grapple with who do we need to be in these times for DRCC to be the gym that it is for our community. So I want to say that, and I want to transition to community connections, which is really about communication to the board. I'm going to ask my colleague to say something about that.
Yeah, so since our last board meeting, we've received 5 emails, 2 from community members, 1 from a former employee, 1 from a former student, and 1 from a local business that was regarding equipment needs that they were trying to, sell for the field house renovation. Some of the other themes that came through that group was retiree life insurance benefit conversation, some suggested new programming from a student, and then a transcript question. So we've been tracking all of that and staying in touch with leadership here to determine how things are moving forward.
Thank you so much, Trustee Williams, and thank you to the staff who have intervened and helped resolve some of those.
Chair, can I just piggyback on something
Please do.
that you said? You were complimenting the college for what they do. I had, this month, I had 2 connections with students that were dealing with some very difficult issues. The details aren't important for this, but in both situations, they were able to go to the college, find somebody that helped them. Their response to me was they felt that these people really cared about their issue. The issue was resolved, and they were able to continue with school. Both of these students were considering not continuing their education. And it's the staff and the people, many of you sitting out there, that do this work every day. And it's a hard job. And, probably as a board don't say enough, and you just said it, how much we really appreciate all the things that they're doing. But in this situation, those 2 students had situations that probably changed their lives. And those people that helped them probably didn't even realize that. And it's because it's something that you guys just do all the time. So I just wanted to highlight that, thank the group for that, and it's a pleasure to be a trustee of this organization that cares so much about students.
Appreciate that. Thank you. So let's do this. Let's transition to the next topic, and trustees, you will have another opportunity to say something. And for now, let's hold space for open comment. Now we will open the meeting up for public comment. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to address the board regarding any matter, you may do so at this time. And not seeing anyone come forward, we will transition back to the board related to final board comments. Trustees, might there be any final board comments that you would like to make?
I'll start us off here. I've been giving a lot of thought to the climate that might impact GRCC currently on campus, off campus, the city itself, and the county and the counties. And it's hard to ignore the impact that a lot of the issues that students are facing are dealing with, frankly, students and families. And so I'm heavily thinking about the most underrepresented and marginalized students. It is something that I believe this board to wrestle with quite a bit, but individually, it's something that I'm going to continue to give more thought to. And so for those that have reached out, whether it be on campus or off campus, it's something that I will continue to give a lot of thought to. And I just, the first thought that comes to my mind is that every student, faculty, and staff that is on this campus or off of it, for that matter, should feel like they have a safe place here, and that this is a learning environment and a safe place for them, no matter what their background, place, or culture might be. And so I just wanted to share that that's something that I've been giving a lot of thought to. I also encouraged to see that professional development is something that the college continues to take a look at, some of the most potentially stressed faculty and staff, and some of the people that are giving a lot of effort within the institution. How may they see a path for upward mobility within the college? I'm inspired that the college is taking a look at that from what I'm hearing. And so I'll continue to also voice my support for the folks that have been here for a significant period of time and are looking for other ways to support the students, faculty, and staff. And one, last but not least, I recently was able to see Maria and other students in action in the community, and I just can't take my hat off enough for the work that you're also doing off campus. So just a shout out to you, Maria, and the work that you're doing.
Thank you, Trustee Lopez. Anyone else? Sure.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to my fellow board members. You've really helped me get up to speed in how to be a trustee. I really appreciate all of you. You've been more than welcoming and warm, so thank you very much. And thank you again for all my friends and family who came out to support me today. It really means a lot. I know you all are all busy. You have a lot on your plate. So thank you for taking your valuable time to be here. I would also like to echo my fellow trustees' remarks about the college and its place as a place where it's long been had a conduit for an on-ramp to the American dream, where people who weren't equipped with the skills came here and were able to learn. And I just want to reiterate my support for vulnerable populations, for people who feel under attack, that I will do my best to make sure that this place remains a place where you can access the American dream in a safe and equitable manner. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Well, thank you for holding space with us tonight for this meeting. More importantly, staff, thank you so much for all the work that you do each and every day, the heavy lifting and the caring that you do exude to folks who are on this campus and abroad, and continuing to strengthen the JRCC brand and way. Just a reminder, you are welcome to stay for the ceremonial swearing in of Trustee Siegel and Trustee Perkins. We will have punch and cookies, I believe, right out there. And with that being said, this meeting is adjourned.
And we used to do the swearing in as part of the meeting, right?
Yeah, we used to do it at the beginning.
Please tell me it's out there. Cookies and punch. Okay, good. Are we out there and doing the actual swearing in out there?
I thought about it.
Yeah, I think I wanted to do so punch and cookies out there, but then they're coming back in here, or what?
Should I sign this?
Okay, just so you know,